Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sam Malloy. This is Luke Mulcahy.
Howdy.
Welcome to the modern PPTQ top 8 for Games by the Beach Frankston, which was yesterday. So we're recording this on Monday. It happened yesterday on the Sunday.
Yep, hopefully you haven't checked your Facebook and had it spoiled already.
Yeah, so it has results out and they've been published, but we're going to pretend you don't know them. And Mulch, you were in this top 8?
I was. Yep, I made it. I'd eaten last round. The guy on the left, who is Nick Bradbury,
yep.
He graciously ID'd with me in the final round despite he was locked.
Okay, yeah, he's a nice guy. He'll do stuff like that. I know Nick is a regular at the store that I play at, which is Dandenong. Next level games Dandenong.
And you won the PPTQ from Dandenong.
Yeah, last week. So I wasn't actually here at this one because I got to sleep in instead. And
Sick life.
It's sick life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't complain because I'm queued for the PT. So.
Yeah. So and the week. So 2 weeks ago, you won one of the top 4 slots at the RPTQ, which was in Melbourne.
Yeah.
In Standard, and so you're off to Vancouver.
Yeah, in like 2 months, I'm getting a working visa and leaving my job and just
everything's happening.
Just try something big. I paused it because that match is about to start.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped. And I mean, I may as well play a couple PPTQs for Milwaukee. I can't be sure that I'm gonna top. What do you have to top?
Top 20, top 25. Yeah, or X3 record. I think something like that.
That queues you for Milwaukee, but you can't queue from an RPTQ from a PT, right?
No, you can't. There's no avenue from that apart from being silver.
Yeah, acronyms.
Yeah,
man. I was thinking of like. You know, The Simpsons, like BBB, YOB.
Yeah, what's the extra B for?
What's the extra B for?
The extra B is for BYOBB.
Yeah, the extra B.
And what's that extra B for? It's a spelling error.
PPTQ, RPTQ.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Peppa Pig would have a good job on this one.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess I'll start the actual commentary on the top 8. I made like a little Excel thing. The match that we're covering for the quarterfinals is Nick Bradbury.
And yeah, Zhejiang Xian.
Yep. I do know the result of this, but you don't, or do you do?
Yeah, I sort of know, but I'll just pretend I don't. I think.
There's my quarterfinal. I versus Tombot, the tallest Magic player in the world.
Tom Botley.
Yeah, I won that one, which was sweet. So you'll see my semi after this. Anyway, let's get on to this match.
Yep.
Play.
You got Nick on the left.
Yeah, Nick's playing Abzan. This is modern, remember, not standard. Abzan's still good.
Yeah, so he's playing a bit of junk action.
Yeah, he's got like Tassigas, Goyfs, Abrupt Decays, Lingering Souls, Lilianas, etc.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with the deck. Our team played it at the Pro Tour for modern this season just passed. I did not personally win a single match with it, so I'm not a huge fan.
Jeez, how come you chose it?
I chose it because we didn't have any other option that we were happy with. We sort of didn't really have that great resources, which often happens with people on smaller teams.
Yeah.
And I ended up audibling it to it from Affinity on the last day.
So you really went Luke style, me.
No, yeah. Normally almost played your deck. I was very close to playing Storm as well, and basically I ended up going with the deck that the whole team had been testing. And
yeah. You love Storm, don't you?
I do love Storm. Storm's very fun.
Yeah, you're like the strange on Finkel.
Ah, yeah, okay. I'll take that. I mean, I can't pretend that it's even close to being correct, but that's also fun.
Yeah. I always intended to write like a write-up of Affinity for that PT for you guys, but I never did. I didn't find the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. I think a lot of us had played a bunch of Affinity before. I mean, I know I have, So.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually the only Affinity player in the room for this PPTQ.
How many people turned up to this event?
It was 6 rounds. It was 40-something.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good turnout.
Huge,
It's a big drive from Melbourne to get to Frankston. From a public transport perspective, it takes maybe an hour and a half from the city.
Yeah.
So obviously people really responded to having a bit of a variation in the format.
Yeah, so Glenn, the owner of Games by the Beach, props to him for running a really good event. And he made the right call, like going modern for his PPTQ, got the numbers, lots of players who are like eternal specialists, or they just what they enjoy showed up, and they wouldn't have shown up to any other format.
Sure, yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, Modern is a format that I've enjoyed quite a lot in the past. And I think people really have their pet decks, and they like having some sort of ownership of what they're doing, and, you know, knowing their deck a lot better than anything else, basically.
Yeah. I just want to try and pronounce his name properly. Zhejiang, I'm going to go with.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Zhejiang was on Abzan. I think he's got the Malira combo.
Oh, okay. Is he playing Collected Company, or is he...
I'm not sure if he has Collected Company. I wasn't on top of my game yesterday. I didn't grab the lists before I left. But
well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what he's on through the process of this game, I guess. So. Got 2 game day champions here. One game day champion from Journey into Nyx, and one from Khans of Turkey.
Yeah, well, stepping stones. One day game day champion, one day PPTQ champion, one day...
Yeah, I mean, like, I have to admit that I have never won a game day. So, there's certainly not playmats that I own.
Yeah. I'm actually using my GP playmat as a coaster right now.
Yeah, I've had a serious problem with using them as table coverings. I came back from the States. Mouse pads. Oh, I mean, that's what they are. They're giant mouse pads. They're pretty great for it. I came back from the States with, I think, 10 playmats from my trip. Just gone, so serious sort of addiction. Yeah,
so Zhejiang has mulliganed here.
Yeah, he's all the way down to 5. I believe Nick's on 6, so... And given that he's on Abzan, he probably likes this, you know, being on a more sort of limited resources sort of game, knowing that his opponent is unlikely to combo. Of course, his opponent, Zhejiang, is also on Abzan, so it's not such a thing. But both of these decks function very well on low cards, and they both mulligan extremely well.
Yeah, like all their cards are pretty good by themselves, with the exception of like maybe a few of the combo pieces from Zhejiang.
Yeah.
Like Malira.
Yeah, Malira is, I mean, it depends on your matchup. If you end up against Infect, it's pretty good. But yeah, I think these sort of decks really, you know, they mulligan well, and they really enjoy the fact that they just don't have to play cards that synergize with each other in these sort of situations.
Yeah, so no 2-1 play from either player, I guess because they're mulliganings.
Yeah, I think, you know, you don't necessarily need something on turn 1 if you mulligan. Hopefully you just get away with it.
Yep.
And, you know, don't pay life on your land when you don't have to. It's sort of nice.
So Nick's leading off with a Goif.
So I'm going for Mighty 1-2 at the moment.
Yeah. Future Sight.
Future Sight printing. Yeah,
he was reprinted in Mod Masters 2, which the full spoilers out.
Yeah, so Mod Masters 2, he's back again. So it's the 3rd printing. Yes, I want to say.
I'm hoping that will reduce the price of the Future Sight Gloves. I doubt it though.
I don't think it will. I don't think they'll ever go down, but it might reduce the price of the alternate art prints.
Lingering Souls from Nick Bradbury.
Exactly what he wants to see here, I think, in this sort of match.
He has a serious board presence now, and this is going to really add up to a clock. So Zhejiang is going to have to...
Going up to a 2-3 there as well.
Yeah.
We found that, and as is the common logic, that Lingering Souls is really one of the ways to break these the mirrors in these fair matches, when you're both trying to do something that doesn't involve a combo and you're just trying to develop a good board presence. Lingering Souls is just really an absurd card.
As a different angle. It's like lots of little guys that they fly.
Yeah, it invalidates Liliana on both ends. You know, you can if they tick it up, you can discard it, and if you know they try and make you sacrifice it, you've got a bunch of 1/1 spirits, so it doesn't hurt you very much.
Yeah,
it's basically a quarter of a card.
So I hope. Oh yeah, updates the dice. Good work, Nick.
Yeah, got our backs on that one.
Thank you, us commentators. So shrinks his Goif post combat.
Yeah, gets the extra spirits. He ends up an extra power on board this way. So I think it's correct to do that.
Yeah. So just a quick aside, I set up the camera just like as the tables were, and I realised for this match there's going to be some glare on the sleeves, and if it bothers you too much, just skip ahead to the quarterfinals and finals where I've rearranged the tables to have no glare. So.
Yeah, it's not too bad. There's just a bit of glare on some spirit tokens at the moment.
Or whatever those are. Are they Star City Games ones? Or
I have no idea what they are. They look like they're from some other game system. Certainly representing flyers at the moment.
So Zhejiang is down to 13 without having played a spell.
13 life, facing down 5 power on board that can rapidly grow due to the Goif. So let's see if
what does he need here to win this game?
I mean, I think from here it would have been like if he's playing Kitchen Finks, it would have been really good.
Yeah.
A Siege Rhino might be good if it can't be answered.
Yeah. Well, this looks like a collective company incoming from Zhejiang, unless that deck plays Restoration Angel.
Yeah, I mean, either a good instant speed threats. Collected Company is one of the cards that's been most recently printed.
Yeah.
And yeah, we see it here. So for those who aren't familiar with the card yet, it's an instant speed card that looks at the top 6 cards of your library, and you get to select up to 2 creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less and put them straight into play.
So Zhejiang wants probably a Kitchen Finks and a Flyer.
So what do we have here? We have an Anafenza, the foremost, and a Kitchen Finks. That's amazing value. That's 6 mana worth of creatures for 4 mana at instant speed.
Anafenza can keep Goyf, I guess, 1 power and toughness lower.
Yep. Obviously, he's been forced to do this because of the Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
Normally, you would just hold this and then hold Collected Company and wait for him to commit to an attack before doing it, so you can make some, smart blocks, eat a couple of creatures for free, and he gets an Eternal Witness there.
So, Zhejiang, he must have drawn the Noble Hierarch this turn.
Yeah, I mean, you would have seen it last turn, I think.
Yeah, and he didn't want to run his Witness out because he wanted to get some value off it.
Yeah, well, these games are not necessarily about life total, and I think that the way that Zhejiang has played sort of attests to the fact that he knows that, and he doesn't want the Eternal Witness just to get back a land when he already has a lot of land in his hand, and he wanted to collect a company twice instead of once.
Yeah, Zhejiang showed up with a couple of his mates. I played Zheng Yi in the Swiss, who was on Red Green Tron, and those 3 guys, like, I walked past them during the day and they play tight. They play really well.
Yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah.
There's a few different groups, different communities in Melbourne, and it's kind of cool with these pre-PTQs that everyone actually happens to have a spare weekend or two to come out and actually play an event.
Okay, so Nick's counting up his damage here. What's that put Zheng down to?
So I think there's an instant sorcery creature in the bin at the moment and a land, so that should be 8 damage down to 7. And Goyf being a 4/5 is the reason that Jingzhe would not have blocked. And then Kitchen Fix to bolster the life total up again and get another block, so he should be going to 9. There we are.
Nice.
You see, one of the combos in Jingzhe's deck is that am I pronouncing that right? No, I got
no.
I
don't know if I'm.
I've got myself confused.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
We're going with Zhejiang.
Zhejiang.
So we're so white.
Yeah, we are. I'm really not good with Chinese pronunciation.
Yeah.
Which I've been trying to work on, but it's just, I'm not very good at it. I can barely speak English properly.
Yeah, I guess Anafenza works with Kitchen Finks as well.
So Anafenza can reset your Kitchen Finks. Eternal Witness can get back your Collected Company when you hit it off Collected Company, which is really sweet. So if you collect a company and one of your creatures is Eternal Witness, by the time the trigger goes on the stack, Collected Company is already in the graveyard.
Really?
Yeah, and you can target it.
I thought otherwise, because how come it doesn't work with Court of Calling?
I'm not entirely sure. Although it was my understanding that it did work with Court of Calling, but maybe I need to look that up.
I'm not 100%.
All right. Well, we're not 100% on this, but it was my understanding that you could actually do that. And Anafenza, of course, not exiling itself because it's only opponent's creatures.
Yes, which is awesome.
It's amazing. Thing there's so much upside. So Kitchen Finks chump blocking the Tamagotchi here, gaining 2 more life, which means that in total he'll lose 2 from the 4 power on flies.
We're not really focusing much on the game because it's a bit of a write-off at this stage. Like, I think from turn 3, it wasn't like. Well, Zhejiang would have to really rip it out.
Yeah, Zhejiang's like really trying to push it upstream here, but he's got the cards that can really compete in these situations. Like, if he hits a Eternal Witness or Collected Company off the top, he can be right back in this. I think he's going to need to gain a bunch of life, which is going to be the telling factor, I think, to keep up with the flyers.
Yeah.
But as far as the ground is concerned, he's going to be able to keep up with the big guys.
Yeah. Is there? Well, we haven't got access to lists. We don't know if he plays Maelstrom Pulse. I highly doubt it.
I wouldn't think so. These Collected Company decks, I think the first time this Abzan list in particular turned up was maybe a week ago at a Star City Games tournament, and it really wants to maximize the amount that it hits off its collected companies.
Yeah, and
which means it doesn't play that many other non-creatures.
And like the pod decks, which was like I guess the version of this deck before pod got banned, they had also a Pontiff in the main to tutor for, but this version would not have that. It'd be in the side, I imagine.
Yeah, I would think so. It's possible that you would want like maybe a couple of bullets or something like that. But the way the collected company works is very different to the way the birthing pod works. You want to be able to hit the maximum amount of high level threats as possible with collected company, whereas birthing pod really rewarded you for having silver bullets.
Yeah,
because it just collected company doesn't shoot and birthing pod did.
It's funny that I don't know, you can still chain Kitchen Finks through a Noble Hierarch, right? Because the bolster goes on your choice.
Yeah, so with Anafenza on board and Kitchen Finks persisting, it's an infinite combo, gains infinite life.
Yeah.
And the way that it works is because Kitchen Fink comes back as an X1, which is of course your smallest creature, you can always choose it. So
if Zhejiang draws a sack outlet, he gains infinite life here.
He does. No, because his Kitchen Finks... Oh, yeah, so if he draws, like, let's say, a Viscera Seer,
yeah,
by playing the Viscera Seer, he gets to bolster onto the Kitchen Finks.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
So he's got one turn.
He was actually one life... Well, I mean, he just needs a sack outlet, right? Because he's got a Gavney Township as well.
Yeah.
But here we have him... I think he's going to go to blocks, and he's going to activate Gavney Township, so he still has that sack outlet as an out. And I don't think that the Absent deck actually has a way to beat Infinite Life.
He needs a removal spell for either of the combo pieces. So Nick just shouldn't have attacked with these ground guys here.
Yeah, it would have been better just to attack with the spirits.
Yeah, he just gained Zhejiang 2 life for no reason.
Well, I think he ends up 2 down anyway, so he goes down to 4. Because he gets attacked in the air for 4 and only gains 2. Oh, no, oh, sorry. No, yeah, so Kitchen Finks gains him back 2 life.
Yeah.
But he takes 4 for this turn, so he ends up on 4 from 6.
He would have been on 2 had Nick not attacked with his ground guys. Because yeah,
it would have been better.
Yeah.
He's still facing down 6 lethal attackers in the air, though.
Yes. So he may not have drawn their sack outlet by that reaction.
Yeah, I think the sack outlet would have been slammed onto the table.
Or a collected company to try and hit it. I guess it was still a game after all that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely had a lot of outs there.
Yeah.
Going to 5 and then drawing that many blanks in the form of 6 lands is really just no good.
Yeah. Game. All right. Cool. Game 1. So sideboarding, what's from having played Absent at the PP or the PT?
Well, not very well, but yeah.
But you would have an idea of what Nick could have in his board, or
yeah, I mean, like so the Absent board moves around quite a lot because it's really one of the reasons that deck is so strong is that there is a really large collection of cards that you can use, and Nick will have had a lot of personalization. A lot of his personal thoughts would have gone into the board. Some of the things include things like Zel's Persecution and Sorin.
Yeah.
There's sometimes your 4th Liliana will hang out in the sideboard, and some people even play things like a Night of Soul's Betrayal gets some play as well.
Yeah, we can see sideboarding here.
So there's a Zealous Persecution in his hand right there. Ruined Halo, which is an unusual one.
Liliana. The 3 cards he's bringing in, we haven't actually, well, we would have seen had we been paying attention, but
well, yeah, I would be bringing in the Zealous Persecution here. I think it's probably very good, and I would be putting his opponent on having Lingering Souls in his own sideboard to go over the top in this match.
Okay. So, yeah, Zealous Persecution breaks the Mirror Breaker, I guess.
Yeah, so, like, you often have a lot of Lingering Souls tokens staring each other down, and if you can pump yours to 2/2s and kill all of theirs off, you certainly pick up a lot of value.
Yeah. So unfortunate how foils look so dark on camera.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not a big fan of foils at the best of times, but they really do look pretty awful. Man,
looking at Nick's sideboard, I'm glad I didn't verse him in the semi, because
he's very prepared. He's got the Zealous Persecution, Stony Silences. 2
Stony Silences, Zealous Persecution, a Fracturing Gust.
Yeah, so he's pretty prepared for Affinity.
Yeah.
That was one of the things we learnt from the Pro Tour, and one of the reasons that I ended up playing the Junk deck is that we felt that if people wanted to beat Affinity with it, they actually can.
Yeah, it's always been the case. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that deck has moved a little bit more toward life gain and having more lingering souls in the main and stuff like that. So it doesn't require as much space as it used to.
Yeah.
Or as much space as it does for the old Jund style decks.
Yeah.
That used to occupy that spot in the meta.
Yeah, I caught a hand lift with Jack after this event, thanks to him for giving me the lift home. And he pointed out that since modern leagues have started up in Melbourne, so that's a thing.
Yep.
And in a league, it's best of 5, and decks like Affinity are unplayable because it's best of 5 with 4 sideboard games.
Yep.
And that could possibly have led to an Affinity-friendly metagame here at this event. Because
that makes sense. Everyone's sort of
Yeah.
not used to playing against it so much, and it's a hard deck to play against, and it's a deck that requires you to have the tools.
Yeah, and if no Affinity is in your league, you're going to slowly cut anti-Affinity cards from your board, and who knows, you might just carelessly rock up with the same list to a PPTQ and I'll get you.
He'll get you. He's the boogeyman. Well, you were the only Affinity player at the event as well, so it could be that other people have, decided to move away from Affinity because they don't get to play with it regularly.
Yeah. I didn't verse a piece of hate the whole day, except for Ancient Grudge was the only one that I
versed. That's pretty great.
I didn't see a Stony Silence. I didn't see no one drew a Creeping Corrosion against me.
Yep.
And that would have definitely been a factor for me making top 8.
Yeah, I mean, I would play Affinity all day if none of the hate existed for it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty close to playing it most of the time anyway, so... I think if I had turned up to this event, had I been able to, I probably would have played Amulet Bloom Titan, because that deck is sweet.
Yeah, and that's even more off the radar than Affinity.
Incredibly off the radar. But, I think by the sounds of it, Affinity was a very solid choice, and it was probably very correct on the day.
Yeah, it was never a choice for me. It's like
you just happen to do it either way, but
yeah,
it doesn't stop you from being right.
Yeah. So Zhizhang on the play this game, having lost the first, and both were turn 1 plays this time. And here's that glare coming into play. Not glare of Subdual, just physical glare.
I see what you did there.
I like Zhizhang's birds.
Yeah, the 7th edition ones, I think.
Yeah, respect.
So
the 8th edition.
8th edition,
yeah.
Okay. So we have another one of the birds in hand, as well as an Abrupt Decay. 2 of the cards I can make out. Play along at home. What cards can you see?
What is that Pokemon?
So this is one of the things that is really good in these fair mirrors as well, is that if you can resolve a mana accelerant on the first turn, they often can't kill it. There's no bolting the bird anymore in these decks. So if you can get ahead by a whole turn, 2 turns worth of mana, then you're pretty favoured going forward, because your big spells are what counts. So we have a Kitchen Finks.
Oh, for Razorverge Thicket, it plays that land, does it?
Well, I would imagine that would make sense in that deck, if it's playing a lot of accelerants, or...
Yeah. Everyone can understand the life turtles thing down there.
22 life.
Yeah. And I think Zhizhang had Anafenza as well.
Yeah, so Anafenza Abrupt Decay bird.
So he wants that sack outlet once again.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with the sack outlets, and the reason that these lists probably choose to skimp on them in relation to their other pieces, is that they're just not as generically good. They're all 1/1s and 2/2s for 2, so that's not really amazing. But you see things like Anafenza, which is going to go to work here, putting counters on things when it's not actually comboing.
Yeah.
Which is a strict upgrade from Malara, who used to sit there like a dork and...
Did Zhizhang miss out on the damage there because he could have bolstered his attack?
Yeah, I think it would have been more correct to bolster the attacker there, but he wanted to save the life, and whenever you see stuff like that, I tend to think it's a bit of autopilot. Yeah. Getting the best of the player, but it's possible that he's worried about being raced by Tarmogoyfs in Tassigas, which probably from my memory aren't generally in this deck. I think it runs like 3 Tarmogoyfs or something like that.
I see what you're saying. He wanted the black land and he didn't want to shock himself.
Yeah, okay. So he would have had to shock himself for a Godless Shrine there.
Sure.
If he wanted to get an additional damage in, so it would have cost him 2 life to do 1. So I mean,
having been on the play, naturally want to go aggro. But yeah, once again, it's just autopilot, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what it was, but
yeah,
there are certainly legitimate reasons that you would make lines like that as well.
Yep. We're not sure if Zhejiang plays what's it called, Court of Calling, to find the sack outlets, which would be, like as you pointed out, the sack outlets are bad cards by themselves.
Yep.
Or not as good, and Court of Calling.
Yeah, it sort of makes up for that. The issue with Court of Calling, of course, is that these decks aren't. It's incredibly inefficient. Basically, is the issue with the card.
Yeah.
I found that recently in my testing in Modern that I haven't really liked it very much. Compared to just, playing better, fairer cards. But, of course, it does have a lot of power as well. Mm-hmm. See a jump block from a Spirit there from Nick, protecting his life total at 15. What do you think about that line?
Let's see his hand, and then I'll give you an answer.
He's got a Siege Rhino.
A lot of lands and a Siege Rhino. Well, I guess he's never going to beat Zhejiang on the ground until he draws a removal spell for his Anafenza Kitchen Finks combo. So, in that sense, he's not going to be able to race Zhejiang, so he just wants to live as long as possible. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah. I agree that that's probably his decision making here.
Yeah. Although, as we can see here, the 2 Lingering Souls would have held off the birds.
Yeah, I mean, so he would have taken an additional 3 damage. I don't think that these matches are particularly about life totals, so for me that's a play that I would look back on and say it was a mistake, a small error.
Yep.
I would prefer to preserve my flying power over doing that, but again, he's probably not going to be able to race him here unless he sees some quite high impact cards.
Yeah.
That Stirring Wildwood's going to be able to pick off that bird if he attacks once it's untapped.
Yeah, Nick should not bash with the Siege Rhino here.
Yeah, it looks like he's having a think about it, but the way it'll work out is that Kitchen Finks will block, Siege Rhino will trample over for 2 damage, and then Kitchen Finks will come back, regain that life, and then have its -1/-1 counter removed by an offenser.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have the bird attacking again.
Go, birdie, go.
So obviously Nick's doing something here by keeping up that mana. He might be a little bit worried about the sack outlet and losing instantly. So yeah, here we have the Abrupt Decay removing the Anafenza at end of turn.
Yeah.
I think he probably could have flashed back the Lingering Souls there and not been really worried about him having 2 pieces for the combo. But he was, if he had tapped out for the Lingering Souls, he would have been very, very dead to a second Anafenza.
Could he have not played both?
As in 2 removal spells?
No, the Abrupt Decay and the Lingering Souls.
Well, he could have done that, but had he been playing against, 3 pieces or something like that, it would have been an issue.
Oh, does Nick have a second Abrupt Decay?
Well, I don't know. I presume so because he kept up the mana.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I imagine that he did.
Yeah.
We have him tap out for Battleskull now that he's pretty sure that his opponent doesn't have additional combo pieces.
So he still didn't attack with the Siege Rhino, despite the Anafenza being gone.
Yeah, I think that was incorrect, but it's his opponent's sitting there with 5 mana up. He can easily just have Collected Company, and the decision to play around it is pretty hard actually. Like it's kind of difficult to know when they have it.
Yeah.
It's such a big difference between them having Collected Company and having nothing at all.
Yeah, it used to be Collected Company. Sorry, it used to be just Restoration Angel, which would be a consideration.
Yep.
But now it's both cards.
It's so much more.
Yeah. But yeah, Collected Company obviously a much higher impact than Restoration Angel. Well, maybe not obviously, but
yeah, I mean it certainly is. Collected Company is actually the card that won me my pre-TQ in Standard. I'm absolutely in love with it at the moment. I think it's an amazing card. And yeah, it's very, very powerful, especially in formats like Modern where your average creature quality is just insane.
Yep.
It's just so much better here than it is in any other format. I have a re-equip onto the Siege Rhino, making it a massive 8/9 trample vigilance lifelink creature.
Boom.
And here we have the Path to Exile really punishing this block with the Kitchen Finks. I think Nick set up this turn really well.
Yep.
So he's going to gain 8 life here and deal 6 damage, 2 of which will be gained back, but I think that's quite firmly taking the reins on this.
Yeah, well, like you said, this matchup doesn't seem to be all about life. You can have such huge swings. It's all about positioning.
Yeah, it's like about pressure and whether you can answer the threats or not.
Yeah.
So right now it's not looking like there's a very good answer to a Batterskulled up Siege Rhino, which is a reasonably common occurrence in any format where that can happen.
Yeah. Do the Collected Company decks still play Path?
Look, I'm going to be honest, I don't know the exact deck list. I imagine that they're probably playing 2.
Okay.
Around 2 or so, was what I would expect.
Yeah. I didn't catch a glimpse of one while he fetched there.
Yeah, it's hard to know because there's the ones that you see published online from a tournament here or there, but at the same time you don't really have any information on whether or not anyone actually agrees with that and whether they've made their own changes. I know that I normally muck around with the deck list after seeing it on Star City Games or something like that. I'll normally change at least 5 cards.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you just blindly copy a list card for card, you'll never learn anything.
Well, yeah, I think it depends what your position is, and you should have those birds untapped. Some people are people who enjoy just playing the stock deck lists, and then you have other people who like mucking around. I know that we're both in the mucking around camp. I do it quite a lot, and I know that you're a big brewer.
I am, yes.
You and your Collected Company and your... Man, here we have Nick going to an irrelevantly high life total.
I can't read that. Oh,
it's 31.
33?
I think that... Yeah, I think it's 31, but... I think he was on 23 before and gained 8, so that would make sense if he's on 31.
My life gain representing system is failing at the moment, but well,
I don't know. I think the big dice is a good job. But...
Yeah. I used to have like the overlay, and I'd update it on the spot. But in this case, I was playing the other quarterfinal, so I couldn't physically be there.
Yeah. Have another Siege Rhino. Siege Rhino has really had a really large impact on Modern. And it's kind of funny because it's not normal that a big dumb guy will actually do anything.
Yeah, not since Goif, right?
Yeah, Goif is like...
He was big dumb guy.
He is a small, big dumb guy. But then we had Siege Rhino come in and make an impact on the format. And then we had Tausiger do it as well. And they're all getting played in the same deck. So the sort of like just big body pressure that those decks can put on people is it's really hard to quantify it, really. But it really does force your hand quite a lot with in regards to what you can play and how many turns you have to find outs.
Yeah. Nick's like, slam it.
Yeah, Nick's a big fan of the theatrics.
Yeah.
His opponent is not obliging him.
Poker slide. So not looking good for Zhejiang. That huge Batterskull Siege Rhino. Well, I guess a Batterskull was like a siege weapon.
Yeah, it is. And there's a concession. I think Zhejiang is busy contemplating just exactly how dead he is, and it's very...
Yeah. They wanted it a lot when they look at the next few cards off the top of their deck. Yeah. So next time Zhejiang, I reckon you'll get there.
Yep. So, I think he played pretty well in that. I think both players played pretty well in that. It's underrated how much play skill is in these mid-range mirrors.
Yeah, and especially at the end of a long day. I mean, not compared to a GP, but still.
6 rounds is a lot.
Yeah, and the travel time to Frankston.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Wake up on site.
Yeah, that's a Leyline of the Void, is it?
It looks like it to me.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Yeah.
Some cyborg technology from Nick. And
a Morriside.
Okay, so pretty scared of the combo there.
Well, I think he's probably correctly identified the fact that he's not going to lose a fair game. That his guys are bigger.
His Siege Rhino trumps the 3 drops from the Collecting Company today.
Absolutely. So Collecting Company is a very good card, but apart from that, they're going to play long games.
Yeah.
And while they're playing long games, Nick's got an average creature size, which is 2 points power and toughness above, what the Collecting Company deck can do. So. I think stopping him comboing and then otherwise just being dedicated to the beatdown plan is the right way to go.
Sweet. Alright, I guess the next match will be between myself and Tim Hughes.